be sharing time, I understand, with Deputy Michael Conaghan and Deputy Anne Phelan. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed. Okay, thank you very much indeed, Corla. And I welcome an opportunity to contribute to this debate. And I've been watching the monitor over the last number of days, and it's great to see support from all sides of the House. I think the universal approval which greeted the publication of the proposed wording of the children's referendum is a testament of the determination of Minister Frances Fitzgerald, particularly since she took up office 18 months ago. And I would like to acknowledge that work here today and to compliment the Minister. I know she's been complimented throughout yesterday and today, but I think the compliment is well deserved, and I know members are very genuine when they give her that compliment. So, it is important to acknowledge as well here today that the need for constitutional change regarding the rights of children was first voiced by the former High Court judge, Justice McGuinness, back in 1993. However, it has taken until now, and the appointment of Minister Fitzgerald to bring this to fruition. Back in July 2011, Corla, just 4 months into her term, work was already underway between the Department and the Office of the Attorney General to devise a wording for the constitutional amendment. And I watched the Minister in the monitor on Tuesday night because I was doing other business, but the Minister did say that this was one of the most important referendums in the history of the state, and I certainly concur with her comments in relation to this. Article 42 of the Constitution promises to cherish all the children in our state equally and give the various reports and experiences over the years since our Constitution was first adopted. I think it is right and proper at this stage of our history that Irish people have an opportunity now to revisit our Constitution and update it to ensure that each and every child's rights are protected, thereby ending the ambiguity that may be out there. So, polling for the referendum, as the Minister has said, will take place on Saturday, the 10th of November. And I can say that I welcome the fact that the polling is taking place now on a Saturday. It'll mean, first of all, no disruptions for our schools, many of whom had to close previously to facilitate voting. It will also facilitate students and people who are working away from home on a Monday to Friday, and they will be able to come home to vote now. And of course, it will be interesting to see what voter turnout will be there for a Saturday. And I think all the political parties will obviously be very interested in that area. Traditionally, down through the years, Corla, voter turnout in a referendum is very low, averaging around 50% or less, with voter turnout recorded as low as 28% on a number of occasions. So I hope on this occasion, given the importance of the referendum and that a greater number of people, will come out to cast their vote over the next few weeks, and I was delighted to hear the support from the political parties across the way that they will go out to canvass and support this referendum, and I think that's extremely important in the interests of democracy to encourage people to vote. I also note the concerns regarding the media debate on the referendum and the fears that the debate could lack balance given the Coughlin and the McKenna judgments. So it is important that there is a full debate, and that just because there is a universal support from the various parties in the House and organisations outside the House, that there is no complacency here. I think that's important. I think that's something the Minister is very conscious of as well in relation to this. So I would urge the Referendum Commission, in conjunction with the Broadcasting Commission, to sit down and see how the situation can be overcome so that the media are given guidance and that we'll have a full debate, and so that people are given the information they need so that they can go out to vote. It's a sad indictment of this country that since 1980 there has been 17 major reports on child protection failings in this country. If we did not have these reports, the true extent of child abuse and neglect which was inflicted on children who were in the care of the church and the state institutions may not have ever come to light. So we must never forget the bravery of the victims who displayed so much courage and spoke out and made these reports possible. Referendum is just one of a range of measures that this government is taking to afford greater legislative protection for children. As I've said, in the House last week when I spoke on the National Bureau Vetting Bill, the Criminal Justice Withholding of Information Offences Against Children and Vulnerable Persons Bill 2012, and the Children's First Bill. They will all contribute to strengthen our protection laws. The referendum, however, does not just protect our children, it supports families, and just as importantly, it removes the inequalities that have existed in adoption. And speaking of adoptions, can I take this opportunity also to compliment the Minister on the work she has done in rebuilding our bilateral relationship with Vietnam. I was delighted to see the Justice Minister over during the week from Vietnam to sign bilateral arrangements with Vietnam, which will pave the way for the resumption of adoptions between the two countries. And as the Minister knows, I was happy to play a small role in facilitating and assisting the Minister with a meeting when I met with the Minister for Justice when I was in Vietnam last year. Adoptions from Vietnam have been on the call since 2010, and many families were left in limbo. And I know from speaking to these families, many of whom I have been working with over the last number of years, that they're very grateful for the Minister and the priority that she has placed in bringing this matter to a successful conclusion. The majority of children in this country are fortunate to be born into homes where they are loved and cared for all their lives. However, there are a number of children in this country who are not so fortunate. It's estimated that there are over 900 teenagers homeless in this city, with a problem of homelessness is also in other cities throughout the country. Cork Simon community, for example, reported that there was 621 people homeless in the streets last year, 98% which were under the age of 26. I do not know, if many of you had the opportunity, to see the Secret Millionaire programme I watched on Monday night on RT television when a Dublin businessman, Richard Mulcahy, went undercover in Limerick. I have to say that I was struck by the number of young people who were also surviving on the streets there. And of course, there are so many volunteers and organisations like Simon and Focus Ireland working with these homeless people. So it is important to acknowledge the work and the support they do for young people as well. Of course, there are many varied reasons why children end up in the streets, but at the end of the day, most cases it is because they did not get the same start that many of us take for granted. The headlines of the Focus Ireland leaflet, I'm sure many of you have seen it, I picked it up recently and I read it, was, "Without your home, your life develops differently." That's so true. That's why children who have been failed, deserve to be adopted into loving families who will take care of them. And according to the HSE Performance Monitoring Report, Q2, which was published in June of this year, there are over 6,000 children in the care of the state, and approximately 91% of them are in foster care. Being in foster care has been a very positive experience for the majority of children. Sometimes a child may remain in foster care for a longer term, given that it is not possible for them to return to their birth parents for various reasons, and indeed in some cases the child and the foster parents would like to formalise that arrangement and move into adoption. In a number of cases that has not been possible, given the children are married parents could not be adopted as well. So the draft adoption bill, which the Minister has published in tandem with this referendum, I think will change all that, and that's very important and very positive news in that short period the Minister has been in office for a year and a half. So if this referendum, is accepted by the people, the High Court will be able to consider the relationship between both the natural parent and the child and the adopted parents. And at the end of the day, it's the child's best interest is the overriding concern of the court, and I think I think everybody is in agreement with that. So, since the draft adoption legislation was published on Monday last, I've received a number of inquiries, from families who are in the process of adopting from abroad as to whether this legislation will have any implications for them, and perhaps the Minister might clarify this for me at some stage, which is rounding up in her contribution. So, the passage of this referendum, I think, is another major step in ensuring that our legislative structure supports and protects children. And I support this referendum, and Ciancorla, and with the Minister present, I can assure you that I will be campaigning strongly for a yes vote over the coming weeks to ensure that this bill is passed. So, Ciancorla, I'm not sure whether I'm out of time or not. Okay, so thanks very much.